Welcome to episode 2, The Gassy, North End Stories. You know, I'm not oblivious to the fact that the North End's pretty famous in more ways than I can say, but if you look behind me, way in the background there, that's the Old North Church. You know, Paul Revere, British are coming, bing, bing, bing. Up there's where the lantern's held to this day. Paul Revere's house is back that way toward North Square, if you will. And behind me here is from episode 1, the Copp's Hill Burial Ground, known as a cemetery around here, which has bodies that are buried there 200-300 years old, heroes and whatnot from Revolutionary days. So I'm not oblivious to that fact that this is a pretty historical neighborhood. But the history I'm talking about is neighborhood history, just stories growing up in the hood. It is what it is. They are what they are. Made me, molded me into the man I am. Well, here we are, my friends. This is actually on my roof. As you can see, the Gassy is right behind me. And I just want to give you a little perspective of the area that we're in. This is the North End. Basically it's the North End is just a circle, if you will. It goes by North Washington Street, by the Charlestown Bridge here, by Commercial Street, the skating rink, by the North End Pool, all the way down to the Waterfront Park. And basically that is the North End in that circle. And in that circle is little areas. And I grew up in an area called Cleveland Place, and there was a playground, the Cleveland Place Playground. This is the Gassy, the #1 playground. There were also playgrounds like the St. Anthony's Playground, the North Street Playground, Charter Street Playground, the Stillman Playground, the Elliott Playground, Foster Playground. Believe it or not, tons of playgrounds in the North End. And wherever you grew is wherever you played. I grew up in Cleveland Place, so I played in Cleveland Place Playground. And I didn't go anywhere else. And if I did, chances are I took a beating. Or I was at least chased out of there and ran home and never went back there till my time came. Wasn't today, wasn't tomorrow, but eventually it would come. Nobody was allowed in the North End when I was a kid. It was all Italians, all born and raised. It really didn't matter if you were Italian or not. It mattered if you were born in the North End. If you were born in the North End, then you were a North Ender. If you were Italian, you were allowed to come in here. If you knew somebody, you were allowed to come in here. Anyone else, forget about it. We're allowed to come in here. We're here, first floor of the Gassy, as you can see behind me. Back in the day, the Gassy was more wide open. Wasn't like this little fence area. None of these fences were around. Back-to-back basketball courts parallel to each other where we played our BNBL. Up there is where I live, Fire Escape, where I played my radio for the boys playing b-ball. Down that area right there, you'll see the beginning of the flights. I'm not sure, but I believe that my group, my friends, our crew, that generation, labeled that the flights, where it became known as the place to go party on the weekends. Me, I was the radio guy, made my tapes, bought my records all week in Strawberries, put my tape together, cassette tape, bring up my radio up there. Somebody would buy alcohol for us, since we were all in high school at the time. Let the music play, let the beer flow. Good times back then. So many fun stories. Another fun story, my friend Anthony Gelati and myself had this bright idea of selling a little weed in like the summer of like '86. We might have been 16. Figured we sell a little weed, we could smoke for free, we don't have to worry about coming up with any cash. Like Al Pacino said in Scarface, don't get on your own supply. Didn't really work out. We smoked all the weed and ended up owing the kid money by the end of the month. First and last time we ever did that one. Funny thing is, when we cleaned it out one time, buried a little bit of chaff up there with the seeds. Pain in the ass to go through. 5, 7, 8, 10 years later, I dug it up without Gelati knowing. Pulled it out, smoked a couple of bones out of it, watched some Christmas cartoons, laughed my balls off, never told. The thing about the kid Gelati, basically, he was always the best looking kid out of my crew, you know what I mean? Not that I was ugly, but he had a wonderful head of hair. And he had weight, so he was always in good shape, the kid. Gotta give it to him. But when it came down to this, I gotta take the #1 prize there. Just saying, Master G. Just saying. Well, I know people from the North End know this, but some people that aren't from here may recognize the second flight as the background. Now, it was all graffiti written back then. of a gentleman running down the stairs. It was actually a sequel to a commercial that was pretty well known, a spaghetti commercial, if you will. I think you all know the one.
Anthony Martignetti lives in Boston, in the Italian North End, the home of the Prince Spaghetti Company.
His name was Anthony Martignetti. We knew him as Moosh around here. But he ran down those stairs, running to his mom's house to get a little spaghetti and meatball, which I never really ate. Meatballs, yeah. Spaghetti, yeah. Together, not really. Kind of a myth. But anyway, true story. So like I said, we used to have parties in here. And at some point, the parties got extreme. And we would invite people from out of town. And, you know, out of towners weren't really allowed in the North End. But we would give invitations out for kids in high school, friends that we had, and we wanted to come here and experience some of our flight parties. So we would get out these invitations, makeshift, that we would make them up, address, whatnot, permission to come in here on a Friday night. They would come here and they would hang out with us. It was a great time. We actually had a wedding here with a young lady, pretty well-known young lady in this town called Tootsie. One of my favorites. Mwah, love ya. As you can see now, times have changed to a point where we have a little community for dogs. Why? Probably because all the dog shit. When I was a kid, dog shit, just another obstacle in a tough life growing up here in the North End. It's actually like a game you could play, which we created. You stepped into shit and you had it, like a game of tag. And if I tagged you, then you had this shit. But if I gave you the thumbs up, then I'm protected, not just me, but also thumbs up for me and my family. Another thing they filmed here was a movie back in the day called The Brinks Job. And it was based on a true story where they actually broke in. This used to be where they stored the Brinks trucks, you know, the vehicles that drove around the city collecting money from businesses and whatnot, bringing them to banks. So a couple of guys had a bright idea of breaking in here, breaking into the trucks and stealing some of that money. Where it is, they got $2 to $4 million and was never recovered, although they were caught. We actually broke in there when they weren't filming, went down, got into the trucks, and had that phony Hollywood money, Brinks money, and passed it around for one summer. Passed the buck, if you will, no pun intended. All of this was set up differently back then. Prince Street was set up like it was 1960. Awnings, mom and pop shops and whatnot. Cars were all set up differently for that era. They actually had a billboard up here on the top of the flights, set up like a backdrop of a city skyline. You know, when the Brinks Job came to town, how they chose everybody, that they went by the St. Anthony's playground. They says, hey, everybody want to be in a movie? Yeah, absolutely. Naturally, we all lined up. They took Polaroids of us back then. Wrote on the Polaroid our name, our phone number, and our address. Luckily, I was one of the ones they got in touch with. Me and my friend Joe went down to Copley Square, and we got fit for our wardrobe. We also had to get whiffles. That's what the haircuts were back in the 50s. Shaved my head, no problem. Joe goes up, he don't want to do it. A little argument ensues, him and his mother. A little tacarada later, dragged them out. Johnny steps in this scene, here's the two of us, cold in our hands as we stole it, running back to our homes to heat it up. Movie Brinks Job, big budget movie. Peter Falk, Ned Beatty, all-star cast filmed around here in the North End, in the Gassy to be specific. Funny thing about the Gassy, it was the park that everybody wanted. And you weren't allowed to come here unless they let you come in here, the people that grew up in here or claimed it. For instance, the Gassy Kids, group of kids, all kinds of different gangs, if you will, or names of people that hung out in certain places. These were the Gassy Kids. This was their home. If you come in here and they didn't want you here, you had to get the fuck out until it was your day. This wall right here was pretty cool. You know, we used to play baseball, wiffle ball, and whatnot, and balls would go behind there, believe it or not. It's very narrow, very thin. So we would walk up the stairs, go across the bars, hop down, and have to go all the way, shimmy across in between that wall and the Brinks wall to get to the other side, Prince Street. In the meantime, we'd grab all kinds of baseballs, wiffle balls, anything that fell back there, we recovered, we brought out, and we played with for the rest of the summer if we could. So as promised, my friends, here we are with the segment of nicknames. But first, I just want to point out that we are on my fire escape on my street in the North End facing the Gassy. And I used to actually put my speakers from my window when I was a kid. I actually lived in this apartment and put my speakers on this here fire escape and play music for all my boys when they were playing their ball games, if I wasn't playing, that is. And the league was called the BNBL. It was the Boston Neighborhood Basketball League. And our coach was Tilly. And funny thing is, he told us, give me $10 a piece, he said. And what's the name of the team? He said, we're going to make it the Red Devils. He said, we'll make shirts. He said, we'll put a devil on it. We'll put Red Devils. We were like, yeah, cool. We gave him $10 a piece. And when you know it, fucking beat us for the $10. What a scam. But it became a running joke for the next 30, 40 years until he passed away. God rest his soul. We used to hit him up and say, hey, tell, shirts come in yet? Funny story, man. God bless him. But we're here for nicknames, so let's cap the show off with this. Now, every respectable Italian neighborhood has a Sal Red and a Sal Black, and obviously, yes, we have them. Also, we have the initial nicknames, you know, the EPs, the JPs, the PGs, the JVs. We have the skinnies of the world. Funny thing is, it's usually a guy over 300 pounds that they call skinny. Now, a guy skinny, they never call him fatty. Never got that. Must be a neighborhood thing. We got the Johnny Shoes of the world. We got the Scotty Hi-Hats. We got the Cat in the Hats. We got the Boobs. We got the Yimmers. We got the Gubbies. We got the Mooshes. How about the Salvi Cooches? You know, the names based on last names. We got the Virgils, the Dellos, the Lopes, the Valids, the Caps. We got the names based on first names, like Big Dot, Jackie Sab, Benny D, Joe Sitch, Stevie Dry. Now, how about Stevie Dry? Kid went swimming all day long, hair always dry. That's how that nickname became. And we got the Nino Same Dives. Perfect kid, 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, handsome as can be, nicest kid, tough kid, great, legendary North End kid. Same dive. Hey, Nino, do me a favor, do a cannonball. Sure. Boom. Same dive. Nino, how about a half gainer? Absolutely. Boom. Same dive. Flawless as it was, perfect as it was, Nino, same dive. God love him. And then we have the sick nicks of the world, you know, the pollution last names, the Salvi Pimples, the Joe Shits, the Albi Cacazota, the Martian family. And then you have my personal favorites, the Teresa Cup of Coffees, the Salvi Yitnyars. You know Salvi. Salvi was a legend around here back in the day. Hey, how you doing? I don't know why they call me Salvi Yitnyar. Do you know why they call me Salvi Yitnyar? I have no idea. Hey, Sal, I think I could figure it out, pal. But you know, it's a neighborhood. And like me, like you, neighborhoods are families. And it was my family. And this is North End Stories, Episode 2, The Gassy. Finito. See you soon.